everybody. Donovan, could you stay? If you don't have anything on, no, upstairs, put some pants on. We have we have like some young men, right? Young men here who get very comfortable in their own home, as young men should, and they forget that we have kind of a rule here. And of course, I taught them to question rules, but so it's partly on me. The rule is you can be a however funky you want in your room. You want to jump around naked, however, in your room with the door closed and the shades drawn, mom don't care. But once you step out of your room into the common areas, folks need to have some clothes on. Because I'm a single mom of two young men, fully developed young men, and I don't need to see all of that. It's not my business no more. So he just got sent back up because he was gonna come down in his on his shirt and his underwears, and I'm live here. But anyway, first of all, I'm live for a couple reasons. One is thank you for the strawberries and whipped cream. Somebody very kindly brought us fresh strawberries and whipped cream, and I'm so happy. And there's a reason. Well, first of all, I thanked them already, but I'm thanking them again. Thank you. But the other thing is, um, the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads and the grandpas and the papas out there. And the reason why strawberries, and they're gone, I gotta grab more, are such a big deal, right? Strawberries and whipped cream are such a big deal, is because one of my favorite things in the whole wide world since I was little is strawberry shortcake. But I don't like it super sweet. I like the like cake, kind of sweet, and then I like that kind of tart, like earthy strawberry flavor, and then I like the light whipped cream, not too much sugar. I love that. When I was a kid, my grandmother, Gloria, may she rest easy, she lived right across the street from the college bakery. Some of you who are from Brooklyn, especially Cobble Hill area of Brooklyn, downtown, you know where that was. She lived dead across the street. I was the luckiest kid because she lived dead across the street and she knew the people, and I was constantly given all kinds of delicious stuff from the college bakery. They were there for many years and they were the best. Um, but okay, they made the best gingerbread. It was that soft gingerbread that it was so good during the Christmas time, and they also made the very best uh, cannolis, and they made the best strawberry shortcake, right? So here's why I'm bringing this up on Father's Day. So one side of my family happens to be Southern Italian descent. I don't really know much about them. It was understood that we were not to speak of them growing up. Only recently have people even admitted that we're part Italian, and the joke is that it's as clear as the nose on my face because on my father's side they don't have this nose. I got this. They say I got this nose from the Italians. So anyway, um, I'm not really sure how that all happened or who's who. But what I do know is that when I was very little, um, I'm talking about toddler. I remember this 2, 3, 4 years old. Okay. I would often be minded by my grandmother. Um, this was before she lived on Court and Warren Street. I forget what apartment it was. It was a big, beautiful apartment in a brownstone. Um, with the tall stairs, that they have in Brooklyn in that area. We're from the waterfront area, okay? South Brooklyn. So I just remember that other apartment when I was very small. I might have been on President Street, if I'm not mistaken. And there would be a guy who would come. I shouldn't call him a guy. There would be an older gentleman who would always come, dressed very well, usually on a Sunday, sometimes not, but always on the weekend. And he would be accompanied by another person dressed in a suit, the guy in the suit would always stand outside the door to the apartment, kind of lean against like the side of the door to the apartment. I will never forget this. He was this big, like, scary looking, he never did anything bad, but he was this big, giant, scary, big looking dude. And he always wore his hat, the older guys, they had their fedoras or hat. And he'd stand in the front. He would not come in usually the apartment unless he was called to. He would just kind of stand by the door. And this gentleman would come in, and I knew him only as Papa. That was his name. I couldn't tell you what his name is. It was Papa. And he would come in, and he spoke English, because I caught him speaking English a couple of times, and he spoke perfect English. He had a bit of an accent, a lovely accent actually, to die for. You know what I mean? But he spoke perfect English. But when he came through the door, he would speak to my grandmother in nothing but Italian. Nothing like it. I think like if she said anything in Spanish, because I'm Puerto Rican, or in English, he would like, and he would speak only Italian. He only spoke Italian. So I understand a little bit of Italian. And it was a Southern Italian dialect. He's only spoke Italian. So I'm familiar with the sound of Italian. It's not very much different from Spanish, but this Italian. Ordered, okay? So he'd come in, and he would talk with, he would visit with, and he would talk with my grandmother Gloria, and she'd have coffee, high test espresso with the sambuca, the whole thing, sauce on Sundays, the whole thing, right? And something about this person scared me half to death. I was terrified of him. He had a very deep bass, booming kind of voice. Like even though he wasn't angry, like he often spoke, as many Italians do, kind of loud and, with his hands, you know what I mean? And something about that boom, that voice, like he probably could have sung opera. He had a very deep bass, booming, echoing voice. And I was terrified, absolutely terrified of him. And so if I heard him, I knew his footfall, my ears, since I was small. I knew his footfall. I picked up on the way that my grandmother would start fixing the house and kind of act when she kind of knew he was coming. And I was terrified. I was not a kid who was shy. I'm not really shy now. I'm friendly now. And I was not really a shy kid at all. I was the type of kid to go and make friends and play, and I would have to be reined in. I was not really a kid who was shy. And I would hide behind my grandmother, like you see in children hiding behind their grandmother, like peeking around their legs, or I would hide. Like I would literally hide. I would hide in the closet. I would hide under the bed. I would hide in the tub. I would hide. And it wasn't because I was playing a game with him. I was freaking terrified. Something about this guy scared the living crap out of me. I will never forget it. And he would come in speaking Italian, and I'm shaking, praying for him, sweet Jesus, when is this man leaving? I was so scared. And they tried to like not insult him and pass it off as, oh, that's Day, she's playing hide and seek, and then he kind of realized that I was scared of him. And I think it hurt his feelings a little bit, that the baby was scared, because I was a baby. I was 3 and 4 years old. I remember this vividly. And he would come in, and I would not come out. I would refuse to come out. And one time he tried to trick me. Him and my grandmother tried to trick me and pretend he was leaving, and they were stomping their feet. Okay, ciao, whatever, both cheeks, all of that, and closed the door. And I thought he was gone, and I peeked out, and it was like, ciao, Bella. I was like, ah, and I screamed, and I like cried. I was in hysterics. I was like, ah. I was so scared of him. I don't even know why. I don't know his name. I only know him as Papa. That's all. That was Papa. And so he would come, and what he would try to do after a while was coax me. He would try to say to me in Italian, please come out. I'm not going to hurt you. It's Papa. Come say hello to Papa. Come give Papa a kiss, And I wasn't coming out for shit. But he knew that I loved the college bakery. So he would leave mini cannolis, he would leave stuff, little rainbow cookie, to see if he could kind of coax me like a little mouse out from where I was hiding, so he could see me. and it rarely worked until the strawberry shortcake. He figured out that I loved it, and then he leave a little thing with the in the front. And so finally, I think it was maybe twice. He left the strawberry shortcake and the whipped cream and the oh my god, it was so good from Carl's Bakery, and he left it in the middle of the dining room table, and I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, he's gonna leave soon. He's gonna leave soon. This is what I'm thinking in my tiny little baby head. He's gonna leave, and after he leaves, I'm taking the pastries. I had no problem taking the pastries. I just wasn't gonna deal with it. He's frightened me. He was so frightened of him, and finally I did come out, and I kind of inched in, and he was like saying hi, and I was just like, and my grandmother, Gloria, she sat me on her lap, and I had the strawberry shortcake, and he was very happy that I wasn't so scared, and that I didn't like run for the hills. But I remember that, and I don't know his name. I do know that he passed away at some point in the 80s, um, when I was a preteen, and I had to go with my mother because my grandmother wasn't well and my uncle was incarcerated. So someone had to pay their respect. So I remember going with my mother to this cemetery. I don't know if it was Long Island. I don't know where it was. It was far. I remember it was far. And we went in, and there were all these people, and all of them were Italian. All of them. And some of them knew my mom on sight and kind of shunned her, didn't really talk to her. But a lot of the others did. Most of the women did come over, and it was like, oh, Angie, and I'm looking at them like, I've never seen these people. I'm like 11 years old or something. I don't forget how old, or 9, and I've never seen these people, and they know my mom. They know our names. And, oh my God, how's Gloria? They were asking for my grandmother, who wasn't well at the time, and they were happy to see me, to meet me. Well, apparently they knew who I was. And they insisted, I'll never forget this, that my mother and I be driven to our door. Like, they wouldn't allow us to, old school time, people do not allow the women, no. They don't allow their women to not be driven places. That was unheard of. That was like, that's not a thing. Like, a gentleman, usually, your cousin, your brother, somebody drives you, accompanies you door to door. Door to door, make sure you get in the door, make sure the light turns on, the thing's locked. They're not trying to hear that you went anywhere by yourself. You don't take the train. No. You do not take trains. You do not take buses. You are put in a car and someone drives you. That was their mentality. They were not trying to hear that. Remember too that in those days, the trains in the 80s, in the late 70s and 80s in New York were not safe at all. They were filthy. They were not safe at all. They were not even remotely safe. So that was part of it too. But that you go accompanied with somebody, some kind of male in your family. Even as teenagers, we were not allowed to even go to the corner bodega without like a freaking escort entourage. Somebody had to be with us, either to rat us out if we were talking to a boy or doing something we weren't supposed to do, or to just be protective. You didn't go. It was unheard of. You don't leave the house. I remember people, and growing up, their father would say to them, you can go to the store, but you have to have a friend. And I would get a call. Dad, could you come over? I have to go to the store. I can't go by myself. Ma, can I go over? You can go down the block, no further, to your friend's house. And they would check and make sure I went there. And then we'd go to the freaking store, which was like across the street or down the block together, us girls. And then we'd come right back. And I remember her father spitting on the floor. He spit on the floor. He goes, if you're not back by the time the spit dries, I'm going to beat your ass. Like, they were we didn't go no freaking where. We did not go nowhere, especially not unaccompanied by some, usually male. Usually an older male, sometimes a female. They gave you the younger cousins or the younger siblings to go with you because they knew that the younger one would rat you out if you did something wrong. But I just remember that. So I'm bringing it up on Father's Day because there's people in my family I was not told the full story about. I don't even know his name, and he was my papa. So I just wanted to be thankful for him, for his energy, whatever energy that was, whatever he was involved in, bad or good, is what he was involved in. But the love he had, that he was so persistent and patient just to be able to see me. Um, Whatever that was, it was some kind of love. And I thank him for that memory. Every time I eat strawberries with whipped cream, I think of him. So anyway, I'm getting a call from my son. Um, Thank you, Papa, and all those other ancestors and people in my family line who maybe I don't know your names and I've forgotten you. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you for the male energy, the protective energy that remains in my life through you. Thank you for all the good traits that I have gotten from you. Thank you very much for the silly nose that everybody jokes about. And thank you very much um, for the things that you did that were wrong so that I could learn what not to do, because no one is perfect in this life. And I learned also from them what not to do. And I want to send love to all of the dads out there. Happy Father's Day. Every day is Father's Day, but there's nothing wrong, even if it was set up for commercial reasons. You don't have to be part of the commercialism. You can say to yourself, there's nothing wrong with making sure you take a day to honor the fathers and the father energy and the king energy. There's nothing wrong with that. We should do it more often. We shouldn't have a day, but there's nothing wrong with honoring the daddies. So thank you. I have a very happy Father's Day, everybody. Enjoy it. For those of you mourning your fathers or who had difficult relationships with your fathers, I'm sorry for any pain you're dealing with today. I'm sure somewhere was a father figure or someone with masculine energy who assisted you in your life. Honor them. And I want to give a special love to my boys. I want to give special love to all of my male friends who, when I was struggling and my children were struggling and needed support, needed role models, needed protection, you stood up. And you stood up no matter what crap people said about the so-called nature of our relationship. Okay, you guys know who you are. All of those who gave sneakers and hoodies and clothes and money and help to my kids, who are still giving help to my kids. Everybody who pours love on my boys and tries to be a good example to them and tell them when they're wrong and they need to straighten up some of their behavior. All of those who have shown up for the basketball games to cheer my kids on and encourage them. Every single teacher, aide, all the males who have stepped up and manned up for my kids when they didn't have that. Because it's very hard to be a single mom of teenage boys. There's things I can't do for them, and unfortunately, we don't have a situation where the person who should do that is able to be present for us right now. And we're going to pray for him. We're going to pray for him that there will be a day when he's able to be present, fully present, and give them the energy that they need. Okay? But until that day, I want to say so much love to all of those people who manned up. So even if you aren't fathers, you're single guys who gave father love to my boys, have a very happy Father's Day, and thank you for being the one who manned up. You're kings. Adjust your crowns, okay? Happy Father's Day, everybody. Bye. Where's my phone? Bring it to me. Gotta call Douglas back. Hurry.